So not long ago, I found myself with some clients, sitting with clients of mine that I work with, and a wonderful couple. Just absolutely, I just love them to pieces. And sadly, we were actually there discussing the final plans for Frank's impending death. That's right, Frank actually had been battling with a terrible illness for a long time, for a number of years, and ultimately that long battle with countless treatments, medical trials, all of those things that he had gone through, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, that time was almost up. He wasn't going to make it. And with the end in sight, though, Frank, it's really amazing, Frank was still, a lot like my dad, Frank was very concerned about making sure that his honey-do list was still getting done. And he had things on his list like he wanted to make sure that the water heater was replaced. He wanted to make sure that the air conditioner was repaired. He wanted to make sure that their car insurance was updated with his daughter driving a new car. I mean, all of these things that he wanted to make sure that he had in place, those were things of all things that were concerning him. He was going to die, and yet he wanted to make sure that their legal documents were updated and notarized. And here's the thing, they did not have time to shop around to find all of these different service providers that they could count on to provide this help. So that's where I come in. At this point, I have to say I felt great knowing that their financial life was in order, that we had everything structured correctly so that I could say with confidence that Jan, she's going to be okay. Financially, she'll be all right. Now, I stepped back, though, and stepped away from my financial side, if you will, and I had a wonderful opportunity to introduce them to people that could help them. You know, the old Hallmark slogan, when you care enough to give the very best. So at this moment in time, for this absolutely sweet couple, the best that I could give was to take something off their plate, something that they wouldn't have to worry about, and that was trying to find all of these service providers to take care of Frank's honey-do list. So I was able to introduce them to my neighbor John, who's a great plumber. I was able to introduce them to Crystal, who is a great notary, very friendly, and she just jumped right on it to get the documents notarized. Jeff St. Clair with Farmers Insurance, I was able to introduce Jeff to Frank and Jan, and he came right out and took care of their car insurance and their home insurance. Matter of fact, updated all of their protection, didn't change their premiums, and really took care of their protection in an area that I don't work. I was grateful to him for that. Also, we have another associate, Kenny. He came in and took care of the air conditioner. I mean, it was every one of these people are people that I have worked with in the past and that I trusted completely to take care of Frank and Jan. Now, I hope that you never end up in a situation like this with a sick friend, a sick client, a coworker. Gosh, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. However, if you ever have the opportunity to give a great referral, think about that. Think about the people who have provided you excellent service. A banker, a dentist, a chiropractor, a financial advisor. Maybe you know the best plumber this side of the Mississippi. Maybe you know an excellent financial planner who has provided you with knowledge and service beyond anything that you've ever experienced before. The challenge for some people, here's the thing, as much as they might want to help, the challenge is, how do you refer someone? How do you do that? You think, gosh, I worry that I might offend them, or maybe they already have a relationship with someone. They might reject my recommendation. Well, I'll tell you what. The first thing to remember when referring a friend to someone, anybody, okay, that you trust, it is the equivalent of giving them a gift. You are giving your friend the gift of knowing someone that can help them today or in the future. That gift may not have a bow on it, but I'll tell you what, I mean, how do you refer someone like a great plumber and not feel good about it when your friend comes back and says, oh, that was excellent, thank you so much, I've heard horror stories and I'm really glad I met that person, right? So let's talk about that. I want to give you some suggestions, how you might refer someone, okay? So let's talk about referring the greatest plumber. And this actually has happened to me. So these are real examples, and I just want to share them with you. Maybe they'll be helpful. Here's an example. This is kind of how I walked into it. I said to my friend Mike, I said, hey Mike, you know, I heard you say that you were having problems with a slab leak. Is that right? I mean, you got something going on and that you needed to find a plumber, right? Oh, well, I said, Mike, I know you're new here in town, and I would love to introduce you to my friend John. He's a neighbor of mine. He's actually helped me with real small, basic stuff, right up to a full-blown slab leak in my downstairs bathroom. And I'll tell you what, he was great. I've actually referred him to clients and friends, and no one has ever said anything other than, John's a great plumber. He just provides excellent service. What did Mike say to me? He said thank you. He said that he appreciated it. And turns out he needed a plumber. And sure enough, he was grateful that he didn't have to go through the sketchy, possibly, shady contractor plumbers to find the one gem that he was looking for. I was able to introduce him to that plumber. Okay, so he said, it was a big thank you. How about this? How about a chiropractor, right? Do you have a phenomenal chiropractor? I do. His name is Anthony Lechner, Dr. Lechner, Tony, here in Corona. And I've been going to him now on a regular basis, and here's what happened. I actually was talking to Susan. Susan's actually a client of mine and a friend that I know. I'm talking to Susan, and she mentioned that one of her kids was trying out for, I believe it was softball or baseball, trying out for a sports team in high school. And I said, wow, that's great. Has she gotten her physical done? You have to get a sports physical to get that done. She says, no, I haven't been able to figure out where to take her. I don't want to go to the doctors and wait there. And I said, wait, no problem. My chiropractor actually does the sports physicals, Dr. Lechner, for a number of the teams here in town. And he's a great guy, and you just get right in. It doesn't really cost much. That's where Madeline went to get her sports physical. And she was grateful for the introduction. And then I sort of said, and by the way, he's a pretty darn good chiropractor if you ever need any adjustments, get a little adjustment going on. Well, as it turns out, she was grateful, okay, for the introduction to Tony for the sports physical. It was very affordable, it was quick, it got it done. Now, here's the thing. A few weeks later, she pulled her back out. She pulled her back out so bad that she was in pain like crazy. Well, guess what? She remembered that I had introduced her to Dr. Lechner, and I'd also mentioned that he's a great chiropractor. Well, guess what she did? Of course, she called and she made an appointment with Dr. Lechner, and you know what she did after she was done with her appointment? She called me up out of the blue 3 weeks after I had introduced her for a sports physical to Dr. Lechner and said that she really appreciated the opportunity to see Tony, that he was a great guy. She really appreciated it. Okay? Who knew? I didn't know, but I was giving her the opportunity to know someone that I trusted. And it was something that turned out to be a great benefit to her down the road. Now, the introduction to a financial planner, that can be a bit more arduous for some people. Now, because over the years, all these generational faux pas, we're not supposed to talk about money, we're not supposed to talk about politics, we're not supposed to talk about those things. Well, I'll tell you what, you gotta get away from being like the three monkeys at the top of this video post that I put up. You gotta make sure that you talk about money. You got to make sure that you read about and learn about money. Find people like me that are out there teaching, that are looking at things and teaching about money. And then most importantly, talk about it. Talk about it with your friends. When you find a financial professional, whether it's me or someone like me, that you find knowledge and you find value in, share that. Share that with other people. Don't be afraid to speak up and make that introduction. So now, down below, there's a recommend a friend button. So that button gets you to a page where you can actually recommend a friend, just introducing me as a certified financial planner, someone that you know, that I might be able to help them. They have an opportunity. If they'd like to meet with me, that's great. I am not going to beat them up with direct mail and auto-dialing phone calls and things like that. If you put down their first name, last name, their email address, and a phone number, we're going to give them a call. We're going to send them an email. If they don't want to meet with me, we'll put them on our mailing list so that they at least have a resource and they will know when we put them on our contact list that you introduced them, that you cared enough to actually make the recommendation. So, right below, recommend a friend, hit that button down there, and I'll talk to you again. I'm Craig Strom, Certified Financial Planner and Chief Moat Builder here at Wealthy Castle.